Warning! This show pulls no punches, takes no prisoners, and doesn't apologize for the truth. The views expressed by this panel may ruffle feathers, break a few eggs, and cause sudden outbreaks of critical thinking. Listener discretion is advised, especially for those still clinging to the idea that Fox News is fair and balanced.
From the swamps of Louisiana to the front lines of the culture war, welcome to Data and Dissonance. Tonight, the so-called conservative media family is in the middle of a family feud, and it's not the Steve Harvey kind. Newsmax has thrown a haymaker at Fox News, accusing them of monopolistic practices that suffocate competition and strangle the free market of conservative voices. The lawsuit is big, bold, and begging the question: is this about principle, or just who gets the bigger slice of the cable pie? Stick around. We're diving deep, and you know this crew won't hold back. Let's bring in the crew. Brian, our MAGA firebrand, quick with the punchlines and never shy about calling Fox News out when they start cozying up to the establishment. Rachel, the independent voice at the table, always reminding us that corporate media, red or blue, is still corporate first, people second. Daniel, the conspiracy board master, already connecting Fox's backroom deals to the bigger machine before the rest of us even open the article. Skylar, bringing the progressive Green Party perspective, ready to remind conservatives that media manipulation isn't just a CNN problem, it's baked into the whole system. And I'm Artie, your host, a grounded conservative with 32 years of calling it like I see it. My job is to keep this crew from tearing the roof down before we even hit the second question. Tonight's episode is brought to you by the Caleb Rourke Thriller series. Book 1, The Covenant Protocol, lit the fuse. Book 2, The Prophet Directive, blew the doors off. And Book 3, Black Echo Rising, drops this December. Because freedom isn't defended by silence. Grab your copies on Amazon and get caught up before the next mission begins. And don't forget, you can fuel your late-night reading with our Data and Dissonance coffee blends. High Lakes Coffee, our light roast with bright citrus and chocolate notes. Rock Creek Coffee, medium roast with a toffee kick and smooth finish. Bitterroot Coffee, dark French roast with that no-nonsense strong finish that'll slap you awake faster than CNN lying about sources say. All roasted in the USA, available ground or whole bean, and shipped straight to your door. Check out the store at dataanddissonance.printify.me. Fox News has been the king of conservative media for decades, but now Newsmax is stepping up with an antitrust lawsuit that could shake the whole empire. They're accusing Fox of using monopoly tactics to squeeze out competition and dominate the conservative lane. Question 1 for the crew. Is Fox actually a monopoly, or is this just the free market at work?
Monopoly? Artie, Fox has been running the table harder than Hunter Biden at a crack house. Let's be real. Every time another conservative outlet tries to rise up, suddenly they're dropped from cable packages, advertisers pull out, and Fox gets sweetheart deals. That's not the invisible hand of the market, that's the Murdoch hand reaching into every pocket. Conservatives believe in competition, but Fox hasn't been competing. They've been kneecapping rivals and still calling it fair play. That's mafia tactics with a news ticker at the bottom of the screen.
Brian bringing the heat, Fox as the conservative mob family. Rachel, what's your take? Monopoly or just a successful empire?
I think it's more empire than mob, Artie. Fox built this dominance fair and square over decades. They invested early, built relationships with carriers, and earned the audience. If Newsmax had put in the same work, maybe they'd be on top right now. Calling it a monopoly feels like sour grapes. Don't get me wrong, Fox uses leverage, but that's what every big company does. Newsmax isn't crying for free markets, they're crying because they didn't win the same game.
Rachel's basically saying, don't hate the player, hate the game. Daniel, I know you're itching to call this more than just a business squabble, so go ahead.
Exactly, Artie. This isn't just business. Fox isn't big by accident. They're protected. Their advertisers tie back to the same Wall Street firms funding both parties. Their talking points often line up just a little too neatly with whatever narrative Washington wants pushed. Tucker didn't get fired for fun. He was digging too deep. Fox acts like the people's network, but they're really the gatekeepers. Call it monopoly, call it cartel, but don't call it free market competition. This is engineered dominance.
So Brian says Fox is the mob. Rachel says they're just better at the hustle. Daniel says they're controlled by the machine. Skylar, you're looking skeptical. What's your read?
My read is that both Fox and Newsmax are full of it. Let's not pretend either one of them is some noble defender of the people. They're corporations. They care about ad revenue, shareholder value, and influence. This lawsuit isn't about protecting conservative voices. It's about who gets the bigger slice of the pie. Fox calls it business, Newsmax calls it monopoly, but at the end of the day, both of them call it profit.
Skylar coming in hot with the capitalism cynicism, basically telling us all the red meat we're arguing about is just corporate steak dinners. All right, let's move to question 2. Does this lawsuit actually matter for the conservative movement? Or is it just two corporations fighting over money and market share?
It matters, Artie. Think about 2020 when Fox called Arizona early. That moment shattered trust for millions of conservatives. If we only have one dominant network, we're always one decision away from being blindsided. Newsmax forcing this fight might open doors for more competition, and that's good for the movement. If Fox loses, conservatives finally get options instead of marching to the Murdoch drumbeat.
Brian wants a conservative buffet, not just the Fox drive-thru. Rachel, are you buying it?
No, I think this is a corporate slap fight. Both sides wrap themselves in the flag, but neither of them is thinking about viewers. This isn't about protecting the conservative movement. It's about market share and ad revenue. If Newsmax wins, maybe they'll grow, but don't fool yourself into thinking it's about principle. It's business. And in business, everyone's a patriot until the quarterly earnings call.
Ouch. Rachel saying it's not red versus blue, it's green versus green. Daniel, what do you say? Is this bigger than just money?
Absolutely. Lawsuits mean discovery, and discovery means emails, contracts, and backroom deals coming to light. If Fox has been colluding with carriers or regulators, that matters for the conservative movement, because it means the free press conservatives rely on isn't free at all. It's controlled. This lawsuit might look like two companies fighting, but it could expose exactly how the narratives are manufactured. That's bigger than money.
So Daniel's basically hoping for a WikiLeaks Season 2 in the courtroom. Skylar, finish this one out. Does it matter to the movement?
It matters in one sense. It shows conservatives their media isn't immune to the same problems they accuse CNN of. Bias, corporate pressure, profit motives, it's all there. But if you're asking whether this lawsuit changes the game, number. Fox will still be huge, Newsmax will still be smaller, and viewers will still be stuck in silos. The only thing that might change is who cashes the bigger checks.
Skylar keeping it bleak as ever. No winners, just corporate wallets. All right, final question. Big picture. Are conservatives stronger with one dominant voice like Fox, or weaker without competition?
Stronger with competition, no doubt. Fox has gotten soft, corporate, and way too comfortable. Newsmax and others keep them honest, and without that, Fox is just another big corporation serving its own interests. Conservatives need multiple voices. Otherwise, we're just sheep waiting for Rupert Murdoch to tell us when to baa.
Brian out here accusing Fox of being the shepherd of sheep. Rachel, do you see unity or monopoly as strength?
Unity has power, Artie. Fragmentation risks conservatives wasting energy fighting each other. Fox, for all its flaws, created a unified message that shaped culture and elections. Break that too much, and suddenly you've got echo chambers within echo chambers. Competition sounds nice, but unity moves the needle.
Rachel says strength in numbers. Brian says strength in competition. Daniel, where do you land?
I land on the side that says unity is just another word for control. One dominant voice means one narrative. And that's how propaganda works. Real strength comes from chaos, debate, messy competition. If conservatives put all their eggs in Fox's basket, don't be surprised when the basket gets bought out or controlled. Competition isn't a risk, it's the only protection.
And there's Daniel again. Chaos is freedom, order is chains. Skylar, last word before I close us out.
I think conservatives are weaker no matter what if they refuse to see that both Fox and Newsmax are playing the same game as MSNBC and CNN. Whether it's one voice or many, the problem is the same. People like outsourcing their thinking to corporate media. Real strength would come from viewers questioning all of it, not just like picking their favorite flavor of bias. Until that happens, the movement will always be vulnerable. And
that's the round. Brian says competition keeps us strong. Rachel says unity keeps us powerful. Daniel says unity is just control, and Skylar says none of it matters if we keep trusting corporations. The conservative media cage match isn't just about lawsuits. It's about whether the movement owns its message or whether Rupert Murdoch does. Either way, the gloves are off. All right, panel. We've covered the lawsuit, the monopoly question, and the big picture of conservative media. But let's put a bow on it. Tonight's final thoughts. What's the real takeaway for conservatives when it comes to this Newsmax versus Fox fight? Is there a lesson here or just noise? Brian, kick us off.
The lesson is simple, Artie. Don't put all your trust in one outlet. Fox might have the history and the reach, but they've also shown they can sell you out the second it suits them. Conservatives need to diversify their voices, not just with Newsmax, but with podcasts, radio, grassroots networks. If we learned anything from 2020, it's that monopoly media doesn't serve the people, it serves itself. The takeaway here is, competition isn't just good, it's survival. If Fox won't fight for conservatives, then conservatives need to fight for themselves.
Brian basically saying, don't trust Murdoch to guard the henhouse. Rachel, what's your takeaway?
My takeaway is that conservatives, and honestly, all Americans, should stop pretending corporate media has their best interest at heart. Whether it's Fox or CNN, Newsmax or MSNBC, they're all businesses first. That doesn't mean they never tell the truth, but it does mean their priority isn't you, it's profit. The lesson here isn't root for Newsmax over Fox. It's remember who these players really are. Healthy skepticism goes a long way.
Rachel putting everybody on notice. Don't confuse branding with loyalty. Daniel, give us your closer.
The lesson is exposure. This lawsuit could pull the curtain back on how media power really works, and people need to be ready to look. Fox isn't some scrappy outsider anymore. They're part of the same establishment machine they claim to fight. If Discovery shows backroom deals and strong-arming, conservatives have to decide whether they want to keep swallowing Murdoch's narrative or demand something better. The fight isn't just about who gets the cable slot. It's about who controls the narrative and whether conservatives are willing to break out of that control.
Daniel sounding like he's waiting on WikiLeaks Season 2, Court Edition. Skylar, last panelist word for tonight.
my takeaway is that conservatives need to stop pretending this is unique. Every major media outlet, left or right, plays power games. Fox squeezes out Newsmax just like MSNBC would squeeze out a progressive rival. The lesson isn't trust one network over the other. It's learn how to separate truth from spin, no matter who's talking. The more people rely on corporations to do their thinking for them, the more they'll end up manipulated. Conservatives, progressives, it doesn't matter. The antidote is critical thinking, not cable wars.
And here's where I land on this cage match between Newsmax and Fox. At the end of the day, conservatives can't afford to be naive. Fox built its empire and earned its dominance, no question. But with size comes comfort, and with comfort comes compromise. That's the danger. When one network becomes the only trusted voice, It doesn't sharpen the movement. It dulls it. And that's what I see happening. Fox settling into corporate respectability while claiming to still be the outsider, the fighter, the people's network. Newsmax filing this lawsuit is a reminder that even within our own camp, power has to be challenged. Because if it isn't, it becomes the very thing we always swore to resist. But Skylar's point rings too. We can't keep outsourcing our thinking to any one outlet. Conservative, liberal, doesn't matter. Media is a business, and business will always prioritize the bottom line. That means it's on us, the citizens, to separate truth from spin, to look past the graphics and the anchors and the branding, and actually think critically about what's being fed to us. If conservatives want to stay strong, it won't be because Fox or Newsmax saved the day. It'll be because people stopped being passive consumers and started being active citizens. So, whether this lawsuit ends with a Fox loss, a Newsmax win, or just another corporate settlement, the real takeaway is this. Control your own intake, sharpen your own discernment, and don't let any network decide what you believe. Because the movement doesn't belong to Fox, and it doesn't belong to Newsmax. It belongs to the people who refuse to be silenced, distracted, or manipulated. That's where the strength is. And as always, remember to speak truth, stir thought.